appear to twice in this screen. It's okay, should be no problem because now my voice is okay. Okay, we continue today with another chapter. So most of the chapters still talking about the logistic. Okay, but today we choose transportation. Okay, last week we talked about what I call it business process. Okay, business process in logistic. Today we continue with transportation in logistic. For this transportation, occasionally we understand that transportation is the main, activities in logistic, and we know that transport is part of the main activities in logistic. Remember, logistic is about delivering a product, delivering services from maybe from a service provider to the customer, or from merchandiser to a retailer, or from manufacturer to merchandiser. Okay, so it's about the movement of the product. And we talk about logistic also can represent the outbound logistic or inbound logistic. Okay, but the concept is similar. The concept is about the movement of the asset, or the movement of the half-bay product, or the movement of the final finished product, or the movement of material, okay, from one station to another station. Okay, so all the movement is considered as logistic. Okay, can be the product move internally, internal organization, or the product move outside of organization. Okay, internally or externally. Both is about logistic. Okay. So today we talk about the main activities in logistic is transportation. Okay, so what is the main idea of transportation? It is about the definition, how to define this definition. Transportation refers to the transit time. Okay, so transportation can affect the transit time. So if we choose good transportation, we can minimize the transit time. If we choose good transportation, very fast transportation, we can minimize the transit time. If we use the slow transportation, it can affect more time, delivery time. Okay, and also transportation is about the loss and damage. So if we choose a wrong transportation, most of the delivery is stuck and cannot be completed on time. So it can cause a loss and damage. Okay. And another factors explain about the transportation system, also about the availability. Okay, if we don't have enough transport agent, if we don't have enough vehicle, we don't have enough lorries, if we don't have enough boat or machine or ship, maybe it affect our availability. Okay, the transportation must always available. And the capability, if we have a very small size of lorries, but you want to carry a giant size, a big size of material, of a product, of course it is the small capability will affect our delivery, will affect our logistic operation. Okay, we must have a capability. Okay, now we must have availability. Transportation must always available, and the size of the transportation capacity must always capable, and the frequency of movement. You make very high frequency, we can deliver many products, many services on time. But if we choose a lower level of frequency, it affects our logistics. So we must choose very good transportation in order to match with the high frequency or the high order of frequency of transportation movement. And next, the various less tangible services. Sometimes we need the documentation, we need to have services I call it the operators, the manpower, the law and regulation. All this considered as a small factor, but might affect the delivery, might affect the transportation service. Okay, and then also we talk about the cost. Okay, in choosing a good transportation system, we must try to minimize our cost of operation. Okay, maybe we have to pay for the rental, a terminal local, we have to pay for the accessories. So we have to pay for the, maybe we need extra size of a container. So we have to pay for the something, accessory in order to comply our transportation. Okay, talk about transportation, you talk about performance of transportation, talk about the cost of transportation, you talk about the accessories or special requirement for the transportation. If I'm not mistaken, in the previous chapters, we talk about the transportation. We talk about the air, about the truck, is the method of transportation. Talk about the rail transportation. We talk about the water transportation. Also, we talk about the piping or the liquid material. We can use pipe as a rule for as a platform for delivery. Okay, and connect the services, piggyback, body bag, fishy bag. All this are considered as the connected other connection of the transportation. Okay, small shipment carriers sometimes we use agent. We use freight forwarders. We use others. We use bicycle taxis, or we use electronic, or we use autos. All these are considered as the choice of our transportation services. Okay, we have a bondage, we have a lorry, okay, we have a ship, and also sometimes we use a plane for transportation. So this is what just now we have to talk about. This one, okay, primary air ticket white, okay, transport choice, same also, simplified. Okay, according to the study, okay, 36.5% are using a railroad. So they mean a railroad still become very important way for transportation. Okay, and then 24.9% using a truck for transportation. 16.3 use inland waterways, 22.0 use oil pipeline, and 0.3 use air. Okay, what factors might contribute to the usage of this transportation agent? Of course, it's based on the value of the product, the size of the product. Okay. Okay, in terms of performance and cost, you can see the real impact 2.228 ton per mile, 26.19 per mile. Water, cheapest one. We use air, also very expensive, 61.2, but can carry more because some of the flight specially designed to carry the material, to carry the product for exportation purpose. Okay. Pipe is very slow because water is very slow. Okay, generally fast over long distance and a fair degree of relative variability. Pipe very slow but reliable. Truck is moderate, fast, and reliable. Rail also slower and less reliable than truck because we have a limited numbers of the rails. Very costly to develop a new rail in the new location, and not very popular. Not all material come across the rail. Some of the product, most of the product come from overseas. They choose airport as a terminal for delivery. And about the rate types, okay. A line haul trades the freight classification of item rate table tariff based on use tariff. You have to pay for the tax. Okay, we have to some commodity rate is different. Service rate for given shipment size, like a product between design point to point. Some commodity come with another rule regulation. Sometimes come with a contract. Okay, we can buy a big bundle and we can sign the contract, so we can get more cheaper transportation. Okay, so there is the rate. The rate of transportation is depend on the many factors. Okay, Sometimes we have to pay for the service charge. Let's say the lorry want to cross the border, you have to pay for the custom charge. The lorry want to cross the port, you have to pay for the port tax or whatever. All these special service charge also can cause a rate. You have to pay for the transportation. And also sometimes we call it, we have also private carrier costing. Okay, private carrier costing. When we cannot deliver the product direct to the customer, maybe use intermediaries. Okay, like we have a very big ship, and this big ship cannot go across the river, must stop at one station. Then we have to might choose a small boat. So this one we call it a private carrier costing. So we have to pay also for this small delivery activities during the way of the delivery process. Sometimes we cannot arrive to the location, so we have to use intermediaries. So this one we might to pay for the cost of private carrier costing. Okay. All this is about the rate of costing. The rate is more on the cost of transportation. Imagine want to carry one product to another product. Of course, sometimes you have to pay the tax. You have to pay the extra service. Like you want to cross the border of Thailand. Maybe the lorry driver have to pay 1 ringgit as extra. It's like sometimes like a goodies for this along the way. We submitting, we send we deliver our product. Okay, but now we talk about the cost, the rate profile by distance. More distance, you have to pay more. Short distance, you have to pay more. Okay, the distance and the payment are based on the distance. Kita mau hantar barang ke tempat yang terlalu jauh, mungkin costnya lebih tinggi. Okay, kita hantar barang ke tempat yang lebih dekat, more nearest we can pay a minimum rate. Okay, shorter distance, shorter the lower the rate. Longer the distance, longer the rate. Okay. Okay, typical transportation. It's very typical to choose the transportation. Maybe based on the service selection, private fleet planning, carrier routing, what the route choose, which route to choose in our delivery. We have not short routes, or maybe small routes, okay, near routes. So it's depend on the what route to choose, okay. And then we have routing from multiple point, routing from coincident origin destination point, vehicle routing possible. Sometimes we use freight, okay, freight consolidation. All this is considered as the factors in choosing the transportation. Still talk about the factors. All right, seems like okay. When we want to choose the channel, okay, we have to think about the problem, okay, about the performance, about the let's say if the price of the product, okay, cover the cost of transportation, and still can give benefit for this, then only we can talk like something like profitable, okay. But if the cost is very high, of course it affect the what we call it our operation, okay. And the method of selection, you can use direct network, or you can use indirect network. You can use if we use indirect network, of course we choose what? We choose our intermediaries. If we send direct to our customer, direct channel, I mean we submit direct to the customer, okay. Direct through a special spreadsheet approach. So we have many approaches in service selection, okay. So in carrier routing, first the best formula is to choose the best path between origin and destination. Okay, this one is something like a calculation. We have calculation for this, but I'm not sure whether we can proceed with this calculation. Determine the best path. Let's say we have route A and route B, okay, and the destination point. We have to calculate the cost for all the routes. Routes 1, how much the cost, route 2, how much the cost, and also the time. We choose the route 1, is it longer time than route 2? Or we choose the route 2, is more longer time than route 1. So all this considered as carrier routing. Okay. That's why sometimes we choose the longest route, but more the cheapest price, the cheapest cost. Sometimes we choose a shorter route, but the cost is very high. So let's say we want to send the product from Indonesia to Malaysia, we want to choose apply. Okay. We choose the flight.
Ya, yang tadi itu sih Pak, kayak yang sangat menyakitkan dulu sih. Kecewa banget gitu ya. Kayak, sumpah benar-benar kecewa aja gitu.
Oh, what happened to the line? Seriously, yeah? Now I can see the video. Is it okay? The line okay? Oh, now different.
Okay, Prof.
Is it okay? This Putri, my line okay?
Okay, Prof.
All right. Yes, not this one. Okay. I share again because now my slide is missing from. I have two slides really in my screen. I know which one I choose now. Stop share first. All right. Sorry. Now you can see the slide. Okay, now yes, slide 13. Okay. Okay. In part of the exercise in this subject, you are going to calculate the cost for the delivery. Okay, let's say we have route 1 and route 2. Okay? So we must determine the best path between origin to the destination. Okay, so before the product arrives to one destination, let's say from A to B, we have many choice of route. We have route 1 or route 2 or route 3. Okay, okay, what factors might contribute to the choosing of the route? Okay, we choose the shorter route. Sometimes it's very costly. Okay, or we choose the longer route. Sometimes it's very cheap. Okay, so it depends on our decision. Our decision is based on our based on financial capability. Okay, if we have a good financial, very good financial, it's very strong. So maybe we choose the first route. It's very cheap but very fast. Okay, if we don't have enough strong financial, maybe we choose the route B. Okay, with a longer period of time of the journey, but very, very cheap. We have to pay very cheap. Okay. Shortest route method is efficient for finding the minimal cost. The shortest route method is efficient because the shortest route we can sometimes we have to pay a small amount of money compared to the longest route. So there is a term we call it the minimal cost. Minimal cost route. You choose the route with the minimum cost. Right? Okay, this is more on mathematics. Okay, this one want to find the closest unsolved knot to a solved knot. This one is more mathematics, but I'm not very sure. This one is still under our coverage, our syllabus, but no problem. Okay. Okay, this is an example of the map. Okay, in the solution. You want to submit a product from location A to 1 to location 2, destination 1, from the origin to destination 2, the location, destination. So we have to use, you can go through a Wichita mountain, can go through a Rift mountains, then only we can arrive to Dallas. Okay. So this is example of route. So we have to calculate the cost. We choose the route, this one route, how much cost we have to pay. Okay. Longer, we have to choose the cheapest. But to choose the cheapest route, cheapest cost, maybe we take a longer ways. We want to have a longer, high cost, cheaper route, faster route, maybe we have to pay highest cost. We have to pay the highest cost. Same to this one is transportation. Okay. routing from multiple points. Okay, from plant 1 to plant supplier C. So you can send from supplier C, send direct to the plant 1. Okay, from supplier B direct to plant 3. Okay, from supplier A direct to plant 2. So all this is like a planning. So it's this one will decide the cost of our operation. Okay, the transportation rate is $5 per ton for an optimal routing between supplier A and plant 1. Okay, see, you can check from this. We can decide which route to choose in order to make the more on mathematical decision in delivery process. Routing with a coincident origin destination point. Typical or many single track routing problem from a single depot. Mathematically, a complex problem to solve efficiently. Use mathematical formula in order to solve the routes decision. However, good routes can be found by forming a route pattern where the paths do not cross a teardrop pattern. Okay, so we choose the best one. Well, we have a depot A, poor routing, path crossing. B, a good routing, no path crossing. Try to avoid path crossing. It's like what? If there's a path crossing, that means like we waste our cost. Because come over to the similar, come back to the destination and then move out. So you have to choose the B, a good routing. Okay, no crossing and the path. Okay. Single route developed by Rostisik in Logware. See, this is another software called it use Logware in order to come up with a route decision. Okay, this example, the diagram. Single route developed by Rostisik. This one same as now. Multi-vehicle routing and scheduling. A problem related to the single vehicle routing. Problem except that a number of restrictions are placed on the problem. Chief among these are a mixture of vehicle, time windows on the stop, pickup combined with deliveries, total travel time for vehicles. Which I call it the sweep method or sweep. So I know this one very technical. Okay, I will check back whether this is part of the syllabus, but at least we know something. In transportation, it involves the route decision, and in route decision, we can do this. We can use a mathematical solution. Here is an example. Okay. Freight consolidation, a combined small shipment into larger one. A problem of balancing cost saving. Okay, in customer service reduction. Important area for cost reduction is manifold based on the rate shipment size premiership for the higher carrier. The cheapest, but what about the service effect? We use price, sometimes very big, sometimes the quality. You know, the quality we choose a freight transportation is very low because in freight transportation, sometimes they are very hard, very rush. The way they manage our delivery is very rush way, and don't have maybe don't have enough manpower, so might affect the quality of our product delivery. So as a summary, mass domain knowledge requires scheduling and planning involved across disciplinary knowledge, must use a system. You can use in algorithm, okay, in routing. You can use optimization formula, okay. And you see how the IT play a role in what you call it, calculating the cost that you have to pay overall. Okay. And then not the quality of service implication, especially service delay. So sometimes if we affect the use of the service delay or accident or order cancellation, so it will affect our planning. Okay, so the route decision is not correct, not accurately. All right, I'll share another notes. We have another notes on the law and regulation. Okay. Wait, I check the notes. Okay, as a summary, just now my discussion is more on the route, and this in considering the route selected for our delivery, there is a mathematical calculation. There is a mathematical calculation whereby we have to use mathematics to decide the mechanism. Have to choose in I call it in choosing the transportation. Okay, actually we have like a mathematical question. So this mathematical question is more on the way how we are going to calculate the cost. Okay, the cost of delivery. Okay, so maybe that one is considered as very tough chapters. For us, okay, we have to we must have like a tutorial or what, okay, session. So then only we can further with the proceed with the topic. Okay, so now I'm still looking for my notes, other notes. So in today's class, so I'm going to share also about what I call it. The legal issues in transportation. The legal issues in transportation, because whatever mode of transportation we choose, sometimes it is more tied to the regulation. Okay, more tied to the regulation and the law. The law, I call it the international law. Okay. And most of the days when we talk about choosing the mode of transportation, okay, so we have to remember that that not all transportation mode we choose is available. Okay, not all transportation is available in our most of the society in the country. We are going to supply to deliver the product. Okay. So there is a rule, there is a code of conduct, and there is a sometimes the unexpected happen, something like damage, something like accident. Okay. And smuggling activities that affect our roads, okay, theft, okay, and other action, or call it the legal action, which is not standard, to the for all the country. Okay, there is still we need to have a connection between the country, the usage of the I call it material. Still like some drug call it plant is not allowed to enter our country. Okay, but some in some country it is allowed. Okay, so there is so many thing, many matters thing you can keep discussing about the implementation of the transportation. Okay. Right now we want to have a look at this another note is about the regulation. Okay, can you see some? Okay, here's the chapters. One more, the problem is cost due to the data. Okay, the data. Okay, we want to choose. You want to calculate the cost for route A and route B. Sometimes the data in from our IT department is not right. We call it there is a problem with the data. Okay. Not many elementary methods are just static planning beforehand. More advanced dynamic handling require. Okay. All right. Now it's about one. This another. Okay. In this chapter 7, okay, it is a combination of two content. One is about the transportation, one is about the legal. Okay, actually legal issue is very important also. Okay, that like I said just now. So legal issues in distribution of material, for example. Some material is not allowed to enter another country. Some country not allow some material. Okay, transportation, type of transportation, the design, because there is a when one transportation, one lorries want to cross the border, okay. Sometimes the way the inspection, you have to inspect our lorries. Some lorries is they don't have enough equipment to do the inspection. So that's the problem. When it depends on how technology, the technology coverage by the country. Okay. Okay, the fact is that 45% of transportation and logistic companies have experienced fraud. Okay, that means the issue of call it criminal issue among in the logistic is very high. Okay, the criminal issue. Okay. Although the damage is not counted in human life, it remains damaging in many ways, include substantial financial costs as well as damaging employee moral. There is more on the immoral business. Okay, so when it involves this immoral business, so we have to deal with the logistic law, legal and issues. Okay. The vendor-supply relationship, when the distance is very far, sometimes we not really know our customer, we not really know our supplier. So this make this legal issue is important. Okay. Cargo theft, another example of fraud. Okay, more commonly associated with the misappropriation and theft, the distribution, transportation, and logistic industry is definitely not protects again. You see, sometimes if you come to Malaysia, you can see one big container crossing the highway. Okay, then one the security will follow the lorry all the time. Okay, but there is still a big mistake on the fraud. Okay, on the theft of the container. Okay, so this is very big issue. Okay, up to 70% of the companies operating in the distribution industry and transportation industry have been confronted with this type of fraud in one from one another, especially when we choose train, for example, or lorries or container. Okay, this is more exposed to the cargo theft rather than use a flight. Okay, use a flight to send delivery is more safer. Okay, because but we have to pay for the very expensive. Cargo theft become one of the most prevalent legal issues in this challenging industry, and issue that the laws of distribution cannot protect operators from. Leaking money also happen. We also deal with the legal issue. The improper control can lead to revenue leakage. The improper control can lead to revenue leakage. The distribution, transportation, and logistic industry give a rise to a dynamic, fast-growing, changing economic sector focus on the entering new market. To avoid the money leaking, we have to really control our transportation, because from the transportation and logistic, there are so many lacking. Okay, for example, due to the quality. Okay, when the warehouse, for example, they don't have enough design to protect our material, of course, it will affect our cost. Okay, the money that we cannot due to the lacking of the lower of the quality. So maybe the customer will turn back all the material, all the product, so it can keep our revenue effect. The revenue affect our revenue. Okay. The billing of all the subsidies. Sometimes we choose many intermediaries in between. Okay, we choose more many intermediaries. This might cause more payment we have to make to the intermediaries. Sometimes we cannot control this. beyond our control, then this also can cause a leaking of money. Okay. Due to the dynamic, fast growing, new market. So sometimes we miss our project and our attention on the leaking money. The temptation to manipulate financial statement is very real in one distribution. Temptation to manipulate financial statement. Okay, we have financial statement. We have very good. We have good staff in financial department. But sometimes this department can manipulate the statement. Okay, so law of distribution stipulates clearly the obligation of operators already a financial statement. So this is more on the attitude, of the delivery operators. Okay, winning the contract, contingency service. This is more, call it the insider trading. All this is due to all the criminal that can happen in delivery and logistic services. So how to avoid this problem? How to avoid this misconduct or insider trading, misuse of power? So you must make very good collaboration. Okay, you must have very good collaboration between various branches of government. Okay, you must have a very good collaboration with the federal, with the state, because sometimes the state practice very different, rule and regulation. And sometimes the federal also practice the different one. So this might cause we have to come up with very good collaboration. Okay. So because the industry is very complex. Okay. The government also play a role. You have to enhance and also very serious in enforcement of the rule of the legal. Okay. And judiciary practice. Okay, federal and state government also must be come up with very detailed and rule regulation due to the transportation. So maybe they have a different reference code of practice between air freight, between land transportation. This when we have a detail on this one, we can avoid the risk of criminal in the logistics. Okay. So we have legislative power, we have executive power, we have judicial power that really tied to the criminal in logistics and transportation. So all this the way how they design the rule and the regulation to control this transportation activities. And there are also agencies that are relevant to the transportation or logistics. For example, we have Department of Transportation. Okay, so the government will deal directly to this department, and this is the primary regulatory agency for transportation. It is the primary regulatory agency for transportation. We must call it DOT. Okay, Department of Transportation. As the government can deal to this DOT, and this DOT is created by the government. Okay, they are primary regulate the process agency for the transportation. This one, for example, in the United States. So every country, especially in Indonesia or Malaysia, in Asian country, also you must have this agenda. Okay, I must have a Department of Transportation. So this is the policy where the government of America introducing DOT, and the mission is to ensure America has the safest, most efficient, and modern transportation. This is by maybe in Asian country level, maybe we can come up with very collaboration in this to avoid this criminal in transportation. Okay. So in America, we have many more agencies. We have DOT and 11 agencies like Federal Motor Carrier Safety Admin, National Highway Traffic Safety Admin, all these agencies support the transportation and try to support the government in dealing with the criminal in the transportation, especially when the transportation involve within one country to another country. We also have a FM Carrier Safety Administration. This is one of the agencies focused on improving safety and commercial in carrier operation, in motor carrier operation. Okay, so this is still about the safety in transportation. And what is the mission? To reduce the crash, to reduce injuries and fatalities involving a large truck and buses. Okay, the FMCA creates safety regulation for commercial motor carriers and responsible for developing standard to test and license commercial motor. Okay. All right. The agency collaborates with group interests in labor safety enforcement agencies at the federal, state, and local level, and provide a financial support standing behind roadside inspection. So this is another initiative taken by the government to avoid the criminal, and the transportation. All right, another agency, we call it National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, NHTSA. Okay, this NHTSA focus on reducing death, injuries, and economic loss caused by motor vehicle accident. To carry on with its mission, the agency is invested in education, research, safety. All this is normal, and the function and the role is similar to insurance industry. They protect all the accident happen during the logistic, during the transportation. Okay, so okay, now we move to the last slide, okay, which is called laws and regulation. Whether law or regulation is implemented at a local or federal level, it can be directly impact your business. Violate any of the requirements could affect your business with a penalization. While both law and regulation must be followed, it is important to understand where it comes from and the process from which they are created. Okay. As a summary, you can say that in choosing the transportation, okay, but the most popular idea I propose today is more on the legal, more on the cost saving, okay, more on the legal thing, when it affect the logistic, okay, affect the transportation. Okay, the main issue is about the law and the regulation is not standard practice among the countries, between American, between Russian. Sometimes they come up with their own law and regulation and not standard. Okay, that is one of the barriers in topic in transportation. Okay, it's more high agenda in thinking about transportation. There's also about the choosing of the routing. Remember, in this logistic, we have another application of mathematics. Application of mathematics where we apply the mathematics calculation to calculate the risk, and we apply the mathematics statistic application to what? To minimize the cost. Use the mathematics and statistics to minimize the cost. So we have many. We have also two issues here. One is how to minimize the cost. So we have a calculation. We must choose the good route. Okay. One more is issue on the safety and the quality of the transportation, which is we can also lose from the profit due to the criminal. Due to the criminal activities that happen along the transportation activities. We still remember in choosing the mode of transportation. Of course, the customer always right. The customer always right. Okay, and dealing with customer, there is a principle and concept where whereby the concept is we try to choose the best mode of transportation in order to satisfy the customer, Okay, so whatever happened later on, first the customer always right, and two, if the road choose is cost us a higher payment, a higher cost, it is not a main issue. Okay, but the main issue is the customer repeat order. Okay, in our main practice now is sometimes we have a problem. Sometimes we have problem with the safety of the product, safety of the transportation, legal issues of the transportation. But at the end, our policy is same. Our policy is same. Still talk about the customer, because the customer must get delivery in the faster time. Just now we talk about we choose a route A, maybe it is a longer journey of the product, but very cheap. Okay, another route, sometimes we choose a shorter distance, but very high the cost. Okay, so our purpose now is to give a customer service, to give a good customer satisfaction. So in this case, we always aware on the customer preference. Okay, we don't care if we're not. We still don't care about our burden. We have to pay more, no problem. Okay, so there's a simple way in decision making about the route and about the cost saving strategy. Okay. So in the beginning of the session, we talked about the cost. Actually, the transportation chapters is already covered in the previous one. So that's why when because today is about to let the know about the there is a mathematical application in order to deal with the transportation. Okay, we can have a mathematical system to calculate the cost if we choose route A and route B. And in this concept, we always understand and believe that we try to choose a fastest route in order to practice today, in our daily practice today. And no problem, it is very costly. Okay, and then we discuss on the legal and issues. Okay. Now I want to leave to the class. Is there any open our discussion on this transportation or legal issues? Please, anybody want to ask? Okay, anybody? We still have time to discuss about the legislation, about the law, and about the route. Okay, so if you want to proceed with the calculation of maximize and minimize logistic, I can try to prepare you a question. Okay, a question like exercise, calculating the cost based on the route A or route B, and then we have to decide how much, which one is more better. Okay, in order to fulfill the customer. Yes. Anybody want to ask? Disa Putri? Yeah, Pak Fajar, anything?
Okay, thank you, Mr. San.
Okay, welcome.
Okay, any question, guys? Please. Come on, okay.
I think you can ask any question regarding to logistic, no problem. It's look like. Okay. Yeah, Vika?
Okay, Mbak Vika.
Not sure.
Not yet. Okay. So I can share with you later on the question regarding to the calculation. Okay. I am Isna Saimas, was accident during the delivery of goods and in the middle of. Okay, if there is accident during the delivery of goods in the middle of the road, because of the good. Okay. Okay, that's why there are two ways in our agreement for the delivering process. Okay, one is in the standard way, we have one call it, the term call it change of ownership. Okay, if the product delivered by agent, and there is a transfer of ownership. There's a transfer of ownership between our company and the agent. So the agent will responsible for the accident, okay, and the agent will pay for the damage. Okay. In two situations, situation two, if the agent is don't have ownership, if the agent behave on behalf of our company, and all the damage must be paid by our company. Okay, that's why before the transaction, it must be very clear. That's why we talk about intermediaries or agent. There are many. Basically, we have two types of agent. One is agent with ownership. Two is agent without ownership. So agent without ownership is responsible. The company responsible to pay for the damage. But if the agent with ownership, so the agent must pay for the damage. Okay, is it clear? But basically, in a normal business, okay, delivery, let's say in the local business, if there any damage, the supplier and the above responsible. That's in local. But in overseas, there are two conditions. Because if the distance is very far, sometimes there is a change of ownership happen. Yeah? But if the distance is not very far between Malaysia and in Malaysia, maybe the agent will pay on behalf of the company. That's the normal issues. Okay, any more question? There is a term we call it international law. There is a term called international law. If any damage sometime, if any damage happen outside our, our country map, if anything happen, maybe we have to refer to the international law in some condition. Okay, there is a bodies of international can caring for this accidental or damage. That's why sometimes we talk about the import-export business. Sometimes we have to really accept. We have to accept all the risk, in risk management. Okay, because sometimes we cannot expect that the thing can happen. And there are there are a different practice in the international transportation law. Okay? Some is fair, some is not fair to the export country. Some is fair. It depends on the situation. Okay, any more questions, Lisa? Erika? Last time I saw Lukman. Where's Lukman?
Okay, Mas Lukman.
Lukman, where are you?
Where are you, Mas Lukman? Isabel.
Yeah.
Question.
Muhammad.
Okay.
Yeah, Alviani. You stay at the farm at the back of your house. It looks like many of the students stay at the farm, like your own kampung, isn't that?
In the campus.
Desa. Yes, Uni, Gayo, Vio, Apipa. Just now is Isna. Thank you, Isna. Okay, student, maybe I will the class, then I will share the question. Okay, today, this evening, I share with you the question, few questions regarding to the calculation. Okay, and we decide which route is better for you to try your exercise. Then you can discuss the answer in the coming class. Okay. Ya, okay, Pak Yayu.
Oke, Mister.
Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Mr. Sam. Oke. Ya. Oke, teman-teman. Sepertinya Bu Nadia belum bisa join ya. Dan kita langsung akhiri saja untuk pertemuan hari ini bersama Profesor Sam. Oke, sekian. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Oke, ya.